Welcome to the $100 MBA Show, the business podcast with the best-looking listeners listening to our daily 10-minute business lessons for the real world. I'm your host, your coach, your teacher, Omar Zenhom. I'm also the co-founder of the $100 MBA, a complete business training and community online. And today you will learn how to take breaks when you're hustling. When you're starting out, when you're building your business, you're going to be working a lot. You're going to be working hard. You're going to be putting in the hustle. But it's also important to make sure that you give yourself the rest you need. I'm talking about during the day, during the week, during the month, during your year. And in today's episode, I'm going to give you my best advice when it comes to how to organize breaks, how to take breaks to make sure you recharge and you're at your top performance level. I got a lot to share with you, so let's get down to business. This episode of the $100 MBA Show is sponsored by NADEX, Binary Options Trading. Our listeners appreciate just what $100 can do, and so does NADEX. With just $100, you can get started. With NADEX Binary Options, you can trade on whether you think the market will be above or below a certain point by a certain time. Go to nadex.com and open up your free account. That's nadex.com. Futures, options, and swaps trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. If you're starting out, if you're building your business and you're a team of one, this episode is more important than you can imagine because you are the sole provider, you are the sole engine for this business. So you need to make sure your engine's in top form and that you're well rested. I find that I don't really produce my best work when I'm tired, when I'm frustrated, and that usually has to do with the fact that I'm not taking enough breaks or I'm not pacing myself properly. Full disclosure before I get into this episode, I am not the number one expert on this. I actually learned all what I'm going to share with you today the hard way, and I had a lot of help from my partner in life and in business, Nicole, because she really keeps me in check when it comes to taking breaks either during the day or during the week or even during the month or year. So this is really something that I've been learning along the way and I wanted to share with you. So let's just break it down. Why do you need to take breaks? I know that you're hustling and you need to make sure everything is working properly and you need to make sure you're pushing out great content and great work and there's no time to rest. That may be the mentality, but you need to make sure that you're in top form, like I mentioned, so your work doesn't suffer. And you'll find that taking breaks, short breaks during the day or taking breaks during the week or taking breaks during the month and year can really, really help your business and it can be more productive than actually just trying to sloth through it all the time, even when you're tired. So let's first break it down to the day, then we'll talk about the week, then the month, and the year. One of the approaches that I think is really, really helpful during the day is to break up your day into sections and have breaks incorporated in them. So you might have a break in the middle for lunch and a break later in the evening, but I like to work in 2-hour sections or 2-hour gaps. So I'm working on something for 2 hours, be it recording a podcast, designing a page on the website, working on some sales copy, writing an email, whatever it is, I spend 2 hours working on a certain project or a certain task, and then I take a break for about maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And it's really important when you're taking this break is to step away from your work area. I'm going to have an episode later in the $100 MBA Show talking about workspace and how important your workspace is, but when you're taking your break, try to step away from that area. You may want to have a cup of tea, have a snack, maybe listen to a few songs, do a yoga session, whatever, just step away from it and do something completely different than work so you can come back recharged. I find that these 15, 20-minute breaks really help a lot because it gives you a chance to kind of step away from it, gather your thoughts a little bit, and then go back at it. The other thing is I like the fact that the break is short. It's 15, 20 minutes because sometimes I get anxious, like, I got to get back to work. When I know it's only 15 minutes, like, okay, it's only a short break. It's not that long. I'm not going to be losing so much time. I'm not going to be falling behind. And I can relax. I can say, okay, I got these 15 minutes. I got these 20 minutes where I could just relax, go for a walk, get some fresh air, come back at it. I know the work is going to be there when I get back there. So if you're working, let's say, for example, 6, 8, 10 hours a day, whatever it is, incorporate these breaks in between. And obviously you can have an extended break for lunch, and that can replace this 15 to 20-minute break between those 2 hours. So for example, you work for 2 hours, you have a break, one of the small breaks, 15 to 20 minutes, and then you work for another 2 hours, then you have lunch for an hour, and then you go back at it 2 hours, up to you. And you don't have to have lunch for an hour. If you want to have lunch for a half hour, 45 minutes, it's up to you. But the point is that you can use lunch as a break. And again, for lunch, step out of that area. Don't be in front of your computer. Don't use lunch to read emails. Go, step out, be a human being, have a meal with somebody else, look at something else other than your computer screen. This break system in your schedule is just something that I made up, and this is what I'm comfortable with. But there is a popular technique called the Pomodoro technique, which talks about doing 25 minutes of work with short breaks in between. If you want to learn more about that, you can visit theproductivityist.com. That's Mike Vardy's site. He was a guest teacher on the show, and he talked about the Pomodoro technique on the guest lesson that he gave. You can check that out in today's show notes. That's at 100mba.net/MBA165. Now, I don't use the Pomodoro technique because I just personally don't feel comfortable with working on a task for just 25 minutes. I feel like it takes me more time to get in the groove. I need a longer period of time working on a certain task. That's just me, and that's what I do. But the point of this whole system is taking breaks in between to make sure that you're relaxing yourself, that you're refreshing yourself, and you're recharging yourself. All right, so that's the daily kind of taking breaks while you're working hard, while you're hustling. What about weekly? Now, if you're doing this full-time and you're doing this as your full-time job, you're building your business, you don't have a part-time job or a full-time job on the side, then you're going to need to carve out your own schedule. You're going to need to carve out your own days off. And this is something that Nicole and I struggled with in the beginning because we were really working very hard, and we didn't take any days off. I think we just took a day off a month or something like that. It was pretty insane. So I don't recommend that. You need to take days off. You need to have at least a day of rest, in the week. 2, preferably more if you can, depending on how much is on your plate, how much you can actually outsource. But the point is that you need to have a day or a certain amount of time in the week where you completely turn off or you shut off and you don't check emails, you don't do any work, and you just have a day off. You can go out, you can go to the beach and just enjoy life. And again, this is a recharge for the next week. Now, Nicole and I have experimented with a few different things. We've done full days. We've done several half days. So we do like maybe 3 half days during the week. So we'll work from, 8 to 12, and then we'll take the rest of the day off, and we'll go to the beach, or we'll go and have some fun, or go out to eat, or whatever it is. And we just do 3 days a week like that. So we'll have 3 half days during the week, and we'll work full-time the rest of the other days. You may be more comfortable with a full day off or full 2 days off, like a weekend, but please do not go throughout the whole week without taking time off, without having some time off. You need to refresh yourself. You need to recharge yourself. You also need to reflect and have time to just look back at what you've been working on and maybe just think about what's going on and what you're working on in the future, so you're not just constantly in, production mode. You have a time for you just to think about what's happening in your business and in your life and how it works with your life. All right, let's talk about monthly. What about every month? You should take some sort of break during the month, and you should try to work something out, maybe a little one-day getaway or something, or maybe do a one-day kind of staycation somewhere. Or you may want to do this, a couple days, 3 or 4 days, kind of a small vacation every 2 months. Now, if you're doing this full-time, again, this is one of the perks of being an entrepreneur. You have a schedule that is flexible. You get to choose when you take time off. And what's great about that is that you can avail some really awesome offers during the off season. Check out Groupon and see what's going on during the weekday, and you can just go and maybe go to a spa or something and relax for a few days as a treat to recharge yourself after a couple months of hard work. The point is that you want to give yourself like a mini vacation, a few days, 2, 3, 4 days in a row, where you can get away, maybe just in your town, maybe a neighboring state. Maybe you can book a cheap flight somewhere and go to Mexico or whatever you are. Maybe you live in Europe and you can go to a neighboring country and just change the scenery a little bit and just get some perspective and just get some relaxation in. You're going to find yourself recharged. I find that we come up with some of the best ideas for our business and for our products and services and for our audience when we're on vacation, when we're on a break. When you have a fresh mind, when your brain is not completely ringed out to the last drop, you're a little bit more open to ideas and you see things differently when you're resting and you're on a break. Guys, I got one more segment where I'm going to talk about taking breaks for the year. But before that, I got to give some love to today's sponsor, Stamps.com. You know that feeling when you can get things done just with a click of your mouse? It can't get more convenient than that. And now you can get your mailing and shipping done without leaving your desk, thanks to Stamps.com. Stamps.com turns your PC or Mac into your own personal post office that never closes 24/7. That's super, super convenient. You can buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter or package using your computer and printer. and then just hand your mail to the mailman or drop it into a mailbox, and you'll never have to go to the post office again. We use Stamps.com for all our letters and packages at the $100 MBA, and I can't imagine why I would go to the post office anymore. It's super convenient, it's inexpensive, it's actually cheaper than going to the post office, and you save time and money getting to the post office and getting in your car, and you just get to do it whenever you want to, and not when the post office is open. And right now, you can use my promo code MBA for this special offer, which is a no-risk trial, plus a $110 bonus offer, which includes a digital scale that calculates exact postage for letters and packages, and up to $55 of free postage. So don't wait. Go to Stamps.com before you do anything else. Click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type MBA. That's Stamps.com. Enter MBA. Now, after you've put in a year of work on your business, you're going to need a break. You're going to need an extended break. And hopefully you don't have to wait a year. You can do it after a few months, like I mentioned before. But it's a good idea to take a week-long break, maybe even 10 days if you'd like. And one of the reasons why I recommend planning this is that it allows you to plan for automation, meaning that you're going to be away for a week or 10 days. Who's going to take care of your business when you're gone? And this forces you to have a system and procedures in place to make sure that your team or your outsourced team or your VA takes care of things while you're gone. Or at least you're ahead of the game, so you've done all the work before you go and you're ahead of schedule. And maybe during that week or 10 days, all you need to do is check email for a few minutes a day. But the point is that it's a good idea for you just to shut off and go away somewhere. Again, this could be a staycation if you're on a budget, or it can be somewhere, really nice, exotic if you have the money. I really do recommend that if you do have the money, to travel to a new place where you can experience a whole new culture. Going to a completely new space, a completely new country or area in your country that will change your perspective is really a great experience. It makes you a better person. It educates you. It makes you more well-rounded, and it makes you a better entrepreneur because you learn about different types of people, different types of needs, different types of wants, and you also just get a better experience of the world. There's an Egyptian proverb that says that travel is the best educator, and I really believe that. So if you have a chance to travel and see some parts of the world, go ahead and do that. Plan for it. Go on a trip. Go take a look at somewhere new, experience something new foods, new people. It's going to really change who you are as a person and even as an entrepreneur. All right, guys, that wraps up today's lesson. Just a quick announcement. A few months ago, we started our personal coaching program, the Lab program, and we just wrapped up our first cohort. Enrollment is now open for the next cohort. So if you're looking to get serious about your business and you need a little bit of guidance, need my help, I'm going to be there on every single call, as well as other business builders just like you. Every week we're going to meet on a webinar and we're going to discuss exactly what you're working on. I'm going to give you my advice. I'm going to give you my feedback. Take a look at your website. You'll have direct email access to me. So if this is something that you're looking for, if this is a thing that you just need to kind of get started, check us out at 100mba.net/lab. That's where you can enroll and secure your spot. We get started at the start of March. We've opened enrollment for a few days now, and there's only a few spots left. So if you want to grab a spot, go ahead and check us out at 100mba.net/lab. All right, guys, I want to leave you with this. I know I talked about breaks today, and I know that we're all kind of working hard on building our businesses and building out our future, what we want to do for the future with our business. And sometimes we feel like I just can't afford a break. I got to keep on working. I got a lot to do. I got more to do. And I can definitely sympathize with that because I am of that kind of person. I'm that kind of person that will lean towards that thinking. But I can't stress how important it is for you to pace yourself and make sure you don't burn out. You don't want to get to the point where you're like, I can't do this anymore. This is too much. This is too overwhelming. I need to just quit. So by taking breaks, you pace yourself. You allow yourself to have the rest that you need, and you also allow yourself to reflect on what you've achieved and where you're going and what you want to do, and you just kind of check in. Like Nicole always says, you got to check in and see, is this what you really want to do? Sometimes your business will shift into directions that you're not planning, and a good use of your breaks is to take a look and analyze where your business is going so you make sure that it's on course. All right, guys, I hope that helps. I'll check you in the next episode. Take care.